Alright, meme and combo card review time. And this time, we're going to go through each class and the neutral cards, and I'll highlight a few cards that I find particularly interesting. So let's get started. So let's start off with Demon Hunter. Demon Hunter really didn't receive that many combo cards. They did receive the Soul Fragment package, which I find incredibly boring. It just feels super paint by number, so I'm not very excited about Demon Hunter as a whole. But a few cards to highlight are Ancient Voidhound is the biggest of the big. I'm sure we'll find some use for him with Drakari Enchanter or Mad Summoner in our super huge Demon Hunter deck, so I'm looking forward to that one. Next we have Blood Herald, which is possibly the worst card of the set, and that's why I'm excited about it, because we're going to try to make the biggest Blood Herald you've ever seen, so look forward to that one. And that's it for Demon Hunter. Not very exciting overall for my purposes. One card, however, to point out is Glide. When Glide was announced, I received so many tweets, direct messages, and messages in general saying, "Oh no, Mark, your combo decks are ruined." But if you've ever watched my stream, you would know I hardly ever play against Demon Hunter, so I'm not really all that concerned about Glide. Next up, we have Druid, and Druid received some of the coolest cards of the set and some of the lamest cards of the set, so let's focus on the cool ones. First up, we have Lightning Bloom, which is possibly my favorite card of the entire set. You can bet on day 1 of the expansion I'm going to be trying that turn 1 OTK in Druid, so if you want to check that out, stop by the stream. Next up, we have Forest Warden, which is kind of an unassuming card, but when you pair it with the card Germination, it becomes incredibly powerful. I don't think this card will see a whole lot of play in Wild, but in Standard, this is basically the new Kuhn the Forgotten King, so I'm very excited about this one for Standard purposes. So that's Druid, a couple really great combo cards, and the reintroduction of Beast Druid for like the 7th time. Maybe it'll finally work this time. Probably not. Next up is Hunter, and Hunter received some of the weirdest cards of the set, so let's take a deeper look. First up, we have Wolpertinger, which is possibly my new favorite cute card in the entire game, and I think we can also make a pretty spicy OTK with him by buffing him up and using a Tundra Rhino, so look forward to that one. Next up, we have Shando Wildclaw, which feels like Hunter's Prince Taldaram or Bloodsworn Mercenary. I'm always in favor of cheap cards that can copy big cards, so we'll definitely find some good combo use for him, especially with Bran in Standard. And that's Hunter. Hunter's cards really feel all over the place. I'm not sure what they were really going for if there was a theme, but I just really don't see it at all. Still, some very interesting and fun cards. Next up, we have Mage, and Mage receives some great spells and some great spell damage synergy cards, so let's take a deeper look. First up, we have Mozaki. I don't think a whole lot needs to be said about this card. It's a great combo card, and I think a Miracle Mage deck will be so much fun to play. I can already hear the arcane missiles hitting the opponent in the face. Next up, we have a card that goes hand in hand with Mozaki, and that's Raw's Frost Whisper. When I first read this card and realized the damage also goes to the opponent's face, I literally couldn't believe it. You can bet we're going to do a spicy OTK with this one. And lastly for Mage, we have Potion of Illusion. If you watch my channel, you're probably already well aware that with this card, you can do Exodia Mage in Standard once again by copying Sorcerer's Apprentice. But this card also has great application in Rogue, so I'm looking forward to using it in both classes. And that's Mage. Mage receives some of the most exciting cards in the entire set, and that's a good thing, because this past expansion, all Mage could really do is rely on puzzle blocks to win the game, so this feels way more focused and a lot more fun to play. Next up, we have Paladin, who received a ton of great Divine Shield and Control style cards, as well as a few great tempo ones, so let's take a look. First up, we have Shield of Honor, which is basically another Blessing of Might for Paladin. So now if you play double Blessing of Might and double Shield of Honor, for 4 mana you can give a minion plus 12 attack. That seems like a good deal to me. Next up, we have Gift of Luminance, which is basically like a Vivid Nightmare or Mirage Collar, but you can use it in Paladin now. So obviously, great Death Rattle synergy, and maybe we can finally get Mally Pally working. So I'm looking forward to this one. And that's Paladin. Not the spiciest of memes, but still some great potential. But Paladin really did receive some very strong cards, like Lord Barov, Blessing of Authority, and Devout Pupil. So I think we're definitely going to be seeing more Paladin on ladder than the last expansion. Next up, we have Priest, and Priest receives some great control tools as well as tempo tools, so let's check them out. First up, we have Raise Dead. Like, Priest needed another res mechanic, right? But this card is a little bit different because the minions don't go directly onto the board, they go into your hand. So you actually do have to plan and strategize of how to use those minions appropriately for the combo. So I'm looking forward to this one. Next up, we have the big one, Mind Render, the love child of King Togwaggle and Azalina. I'm really excited for this card. It pairs so well with Lorac or Cho, and there's just so many great combos you can do with this card. That being said, I'm going to hate seeing it played against me. But what can you do? And that's Priest. They receive some very solid cards and some very exciting cards, so I think Priest is going to be a ton of fun this next expansion. Next up is Rogue, and Rogue receives some great stealth support and weapon support. But is there any combo support? Let's find out. First up, we have Wand Thief, which is kind of an innocuous card, but having the ability to get mage spells consistently in Rogue is very exciting to me. I think we can make some great tomfoolery happen with this card. Next up, we have a card we already talked a little bit about in the Mage review, and that's Potion of Illusion. But I think this card really pairs well in Rogue as well. We've seen how powerful Sonya and Shadowcaster can be for combo decks in Rogue, and I think this card fits in very nicely in that style deck. So definitely looking forward to it. And that's Rogue. I think Rogue will continue to be a very solid class in the meta, especially with cards like Secret Passage, which I think is everyone's #1 target for being nerfed within a week. So, next up we have Shaman, who received a good mix of powerful cards and meme cards, so let's check them out. First up for Shaman we have Diligent Note Taker. This is one of the earliest cards revealed in the set, and there's a good reason for that. It's very exciting. Historically in Hearthstone, it's been very difficult to duplicate spells, and this gives you an easy way to do it. I think it fits great in Shaman, but it also fits great in other classes, so you can bet we're going to do some combos where we try to randomly generate a Diligent Note Taker in other classes. So, wow, what a card. And then for Shaman, we have Instructor Fireheart. I think if we can randomly generate a Sorcerer's Apprentice from Zeph, this card is absolutely insane in a Miracle-style Shaman deck. I'm really looking forward to trying that out. And that's Shaman. And I didn't even mention that Shaman received Lightning Bloom and Frost Whisperer, which are both incredible combo cards. So I think Shaman is going to be a ton of fun to play this next expansion. Next up, we have Warlock. And to me, Warlock's cards are probably the most disappointing of the entire set. Raise Dead is a fine combo card. Philosophy may see some combo potential with Doomguard and Wild. And then we have Archwitch Willow, which is a laughable excuse for Blood Reaver Gul'dan. And pretty much everything else is Soul Fragment cards, which I find incredibly boring. So overall, Warlock has pretty much nothing in terms of combo potential. Very, very sad. And the last class, Warrior, receives some great late-game control tools and some really big minions. So let's take a deeper look. First up for Warrior is Commencement, which is an excellent big warrior card, and anytime we can cheat out a big card for a little bit less mana, it always has some combo potential, especially with the next card we're going to talk about. That's right, it's Rattle Gore, the first -1/-1 effect in all of Hearthstone. I'm really looking forward to playing this card with Umbra and N'Zoth and all the other great Death Rattle synergy minions, so really looking forward to making a Rattle Gore deck. And that's Warrior, some super great late game cards, and a card I didn't even mention is Shield of Honor, which synergizes great with Bloodsworn Mercenary, and is basically another Rampage for Warrior, so look out for that one. And we've made it to the neutrals. Let's take a look. First up, we have Animated Broomstick, and it's kind of funny they released this card now in the expansion right after they released Rocket Og Merchant, which is a very similar card, but this one is way better. This has great synergy with Sonya, with Glinda, with Cube, with Tehran Gorfine. The list just goes on and on. This is a fantastic card for combos. Next, we have Penflinger, which almost feels like it's a challenge card. It's saying, please find a way to OTK with me, and I will do it for you. So look forward to that one. Next up, we have Educated Elec, which is quite possibly my favorite card in the entire set. As we talked about earlier, historically it's been very challenging to duplicate spells in Hearthstone, and this solves that problem entirely. It's also important to note that the opponent's spells also get trapped in this Death Rattle, so wow, what a card. Next we have Lorekeeper. I don't think we need to say a whole lot about this one. I'm all in favor of cards that reorganize your deck to tutor cards you specifically want, and this does a great job of that. It's fantastic in Holy Wrath Paladin and a number of Malygos style decks, so we'll definitely make some good use out of this one. Next up, we have Headmaster Kel'Thuzad. I think a lot of people see this card as a value type card, but I definitely still see it as a combo type card where we destroy our own minions with our own spells and get additional copies that way. So very exciting card. And here we have Vectis, which is basically Twilight's Call on a stick, except this can be affected by the Shaman Quest Hero power as well as Brand Bronzebeard, so lots of potential here. And lastly, we have Keymaster Alabaster, which I think will create some very challenging combos where we try to influence what's on top of our opponent's deck, but at the very least, it'll be fun to play in a deck like Mill Druid. And that's all the cards, guys! Personally, I'm very excited for this expansion. I think it has way more combo potential than Ashes of Outland did, so best of luck to you with those future combos, and thanks so much for watching.